Okay, this is Grant Takes Command 2 from MMP Games. We're playing the 1864 Overland campaign, which includes the Shenandoah Valley. This is a summary of the situation at the end of the fifth turn. Now, important thing here is rain's been in place this turn. In fact, it goes on for another 2 turns after this. That makes it more difficult to move. Means you can't really cross. You can only cross creeks at little bridges, like here, where you can see it goes across there. You couldn't cross that hex side there because of the rain. Major rivers and big rivers like these sort of rivers, you can only cross at bridges. And these really big rivers, same thing there as well. You can't use your fords and stuff like that. You can use ferries. Other things it does, it impedes you when you're fighting. It makes you taking a negative effect in combat as well because of the rain. Because, as I said, we rolled rain current +2, you see it actually affects 2 turns going on. Now, when I played Long Road to Gettysburg, the fact the rain came in was an absolute disaster because we couldn't get north of the Potomac to actually attack Union. So it really ruined the whole game because I think that where it was raining for about 3 turns out of every 5. It was ridiculous. Just really bad luck. Anyway, it doesn't really matter here because you've got the fact that you can actually make bridges, and also the Union had some bridges over these rivers here, and most of the Union units had already crossed the Ripon River anyway, so that wasn't an issue. So if we look what's going on in the wilderness area, the Confederates have pretty much managed to withdraw from the wilderness due to the rain, and they've got a slightly superior movement allowance because that's just something baked into the rule set for the Confederates. And the Union, they're still pressing all round, but they're not actually really in contact. They've only got a few units in contact now. You've got the 9th Corps above the Rappahannock River here, which is probably going to try and get across at Fredericksburg, because we actually control the crossings at Fredericksburg, even though there is a Confederate infantry unit there that could push us off that bridge quite easily. But in terms of units south of the rivers here, you've got a lot of Union forces which are able to outflank the Confederacy. You've got cavalry down here that could cause a problem. I might put all cavalry back on the board and not have them under force markers to make it pretty obvious where they are. Other things, Confederates, not really a lot going on in terms of other Confederate units on the board. You've got units here that will want to try and entrench. So in 1864 you can build a breastwork straight away with one turn's entrenching. You can only entrench if you've got 0 fatigue. If you look at the Shenandoah Valley, Union is marching steadily southwards using strategic movement. Confederate cavalry got itself in a bit of a mess. It got caught the wrong side of a river where it can't cross it, so it's actually had to move into the mountain areas so it can cross these creeks rather than trying to cross the river. It's not a big issue anyway. Union cavalry is moving deeper down the valley, and you've also got a very small Virginia militia unit that's appearing for the Confederacy way down there in the south. We look at the situation on the James River, the Army of the James. It's done a lot better than it did historically because it's not got itself bottled into this area here. Historically, the Confederates sealed off the exit to that Chesterfield area there, whereas here the Union are actually across it, and they've done a lot of damage to the Confederacy, inflicted a hell of a lot of casualties because they've got a numerical superiority, and they've also rolled really well in the combat. Confederates are gradually getting units into this area, but as I say, they're heavily outnumbered. They've got most of their reinforcements they're going to get for a bit, although there are other reinforcements arriving on the track here, but they're not going to be due for another 2-3 turns, the majority of them, and even then they're not massively strong. So the situation looking too good for the Confederacy. I've got to admit, it's a very difficult situation they're in. They've just got to gradually trade space for time as they retreat onto Richmond and get them into a situation where they can find a decent defensive position to punish the Union when they do have to fight. Down south in Bermuda 100 on the James River, that's not going very well for the Confederacy. They could end up finding that the Union can either attack Richmond from the south or Petersburg from the north. Right, that's it for the moment.